Welcome back, everybody. We're here for another Michael Bay movie. This one is a giant flop. We'll get to that. But I am Derek 5 Alpha.
I am Whitney Beta Dose.
I'm Patrick 47 Yo-Yo.
And this is Bad Movies,
Worst People.
So today's movie came out in 2005. It's called The Island. It's Michael Bay's, I guess, his first science fiction movie, right?
Can I call it what I called it?
What?
What did I settle on? What was it?
I don't remember.
Total Matrix recall.
Yeah, it's
the fifth recall of the Total Matrix.
It's a hodgepodge. But actually, this does have some controversy behind it about being copied from other people's stuff. There was a guy named Robert Fiveson, directed something called The Clonus Horror in 1979, and he actually brought a copyright infringement suit against DreamWorks and Warner Brothers, citing almost 100 points of similarity between his film and this film. But the courts were ruling, I think they were saying that he was going to win, maybe. But before it went to trial, DreamWorks paid him 7 figures.
Oh, okay.
That'll usually do it.
We just throw some money at you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're like, we'll give you 7 figures. So we just spent $124 million making this movie.
Yeah.
And it made... So $124 million. I wonder if they include that in the budget, the 7 figures they had to give that guy.
Probably.
But they gave him millions of dollars, and it turned around and made $162.9 million. So probably didn't even make back its advertising budget, to be honest.
Which there was a lot of advertising in this movie.
There was a lot
of
advertising.
advertising
product placement.
As in advertising as in what they spent to advertise the movie. Because the product placements help them make, that's how they get part of their budget. But
right.
This was not nearly as bad. You were lucky. You weren't here for Transformers, Dark of the Moon, or which one did we watch?
Age of Extinction.
Age of Extinction.
How many are there?
6 now? 7, if you include
Okay.
Bumblebee and the new one coming out.
I guess. I don't.
That sounds about right.
Is that like counting Star Wars movies with Solo and...
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I didn't see Bumblebee, so I don't know how much of a Transformers movie it is. I don't really know or care. I'll never see it unless I have to. Michael Bay didn't direct it, so we don't have to do it for Michael Bay, or it's going to be Bay. But hey,
Bay.
It's gonna be Bay.
But that's a lot worse than the last movie we recorded, which will actually be the next movie to come out, which is Bad Boys, which cost $19 million and made $150 million or something.
Yeah.
So that's why he got to keep making movies. He turned $20 million into almost 10 times that. And they were like, neat, keep doing that. I don't know about the numbers on The Rock because I didn't look it up, but
Wait,
the movie The Rock, not the man The Rock.
Right, yeah.
Because that was Michael Bay.
It was? God damn it.
I mean, he had some good ones. We talked about it when we recorded Bad Boys. I was like, you had 90s Bay, and then you had 2000s Bay. So 90s Bay was Bad Boys and The Rock. And then 2000s Bay started with this and just spiraled out of turd control. I mean, I guess maybe Bad Boys 2 was the year before this. I think it was 2004. But either way. So this movie... This fucking movie stars Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson mostly. There's a whole bunch of cool people in it. Johansson, Steve Buscemi, Sean Bean, Michael Clark Duncan.
Shocker. Sean Bean dies.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Oh, wait. If you've ever seen a movie with Sean Bean in it, he dies. Actually, I think I saw a movie once. It was something I rented from Blockbuster or whatever, some straight-to-DVD shit. It was called The Black Death, and it was a medieval, thing with Sean Bean, surprise. And I'm pretty sure he actually lived in that movie,
really?
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
Who is Sean Bean?
He's the doctor.
It's like a bean, Flick the Bean.
Right.
Flick the Sean Bean.
Did you ever watch Game of Thrones? He was Ned Stark.
Bit.
He's the
He's the guy who gets his head put on a bike.
The head guy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he was in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Of course, he's Boromir. He dies in that.
He's there's actually a movement saying
he was in GoldenEye. He was 006.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he's the one that dies at the beginning.
I don't know why, but I'm picturing Wesker with him.
Yeah, so what I was saying is there's a whole movement that's like, let Sean Bean live.
Yeah, I think it was like hashtag like save Sean Bean or something like that. But in this movie, he deserved to die, so fuck him.
Yeah. This this movie.
So this movie, I mean, okay, let's just get to it. So we don't need the like the suspense of the twists, right? Let's just.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is a long movie.
Dude, it's so long.
How many? It was 2 hours and 2.5 hours.
136 minutes.
Fuck
so
you.
2 hours and 16 minutes. But it's shorter than almost every other movie we've done from Michael Bay, but it feels longer than most of them. This felt as long as Transformers.
It did.
Which was like watching 2 movies.
It was one of those aspects once you got past the plot twist. I mean, it just became an action movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So let's the plot as it is there's these people, they live in this, kind of 1984 society kind of thing with like there's view screens on the wall that tell you what to do and when to wake up and where to go. And all this shit's going on, and they all have weird names. Like, so Ewan McGregor is Lincoln 6 Echo. Scarlett Johansson is Jordan 2 Delta. Hence our stupid introductions.
You're trying to fit in.
And I messed mine up. I was supposed to be Whitney 2 Beta.
Whatever.
It's fine.
I wanted to go with Zebra at first, but
Zebra.
Zed. That would have been a good one.
They're all basically clones for rich people to harvest for organs.
Yep.
Or to have babies so they don't have to ruin their own vaginas, which happens in this
rich
movie.
people getting exactly what they want at no cost other than another human life.
They didn't really know.
But yeah, that's the thing is the rich people, I mean...
They didn't care
so
either.
the laws, there was the eugenics policies of 2015, which I don't know where we were at then, but... that basically said that they can't have these clones be alive. So Sean Bean says that they're growing these clones and that they don't live. They're just bodies and they're just vessels to take stuff from. But they actually put them into this fucking missile silo that has like a holographic projection of like some islands, and they tell them that it's like the post-apocalypse and there was some kind of world-ending event.
Contamination.
Yeah. And then these people get drawn from a lottery to get to go to the island, which by the way, it takes them 2 minutes to say. I'm just going to point that out there. He said it. Yeah. And they go to this, they think that they go to this island and it's the last not contaminated place on Earth. And there's not enough room for everybody. So there has to be a lottery to let people go.
That's life for them now.
Yeah. But really the island
saved you.
Really the island is you go from your happiest thinking, I'm going to the island, to the most terrifying moment of your life when they are tearing your liver out of your body and you wake up in the middle of surgery like Michael Clark Duncan.
Oh my goodness.
So, I mean, that's pretty much the story.
So we're
See you guys
here.
next week.
There you go. I'm good with that. I mean, I could sit there and go through the scenes at the beginning, but
I mean, like we can breeze through it really fast. Ewan wakes
all
up.
right.
Wrong shoes. Can't eat what he wants.
Hold on, you're skipping over the dream and stuff.
Yeah. You have
good stuff.
You have Ewan McGregor and the angelic shots of ScarJo or whatever, and they're on the boat, and then
this Batman boat, by the way,
see men pull him off to the boat and like drown him, and then he wakes up in a bed in a reverse dream.
Yeah, he like wakes up and like water floods out of the room.
Yeah,
and like it doesn't really, it's his dream, but like it's like he's drowning and then the water floods out
but
of the room.
But he's also getting that
up.
doctor face, like the same screen that's crossing over your face when you're like doing that.
Oh, the Clockwork Orange brainwashing thing. Yeah.
So that's what he's dreaming.
Yeah.
And so the water rushing off and like everything.
So when they have them in their pods or whatever, when they take them out of their breast implants that they're growing in,
there were people.
They get put into these rooms and they flash all these images in their eyes, like a la Clockwork Orange, to brainwash them, and it's just basically telling them over and over, like. I think part of it is they implant their memories because Steve Buscemi says they have like a dozen different things they use. And then part of it is just like, you want to go to the island. You're very happy to go to the island.
What was the subtitle speak? Godlike voice?
Yes, godlike voice is how they put that guy's voice. So yes, he wakes up. He's told to report to the Tranquility Center. Very 1984. Yeah, he opens his drawer and there's his Pumas because we still have name brand shoes in the apocalypse. Yeah, he's missing his left shoe. And then, are there any problems? I'm missing a shoe. Or like, what is it the guy says, how are you today? I'm missing a
my
shoe.
left shoe.
That was pretty good. I enjoyed that.
They're all wearing like Logan's Run jumpsuits. And
pristine white.
It says it's July 19th, 2019. which kind of follows because they talk about the eugenics law thing of 2015, and real Ewan McGregor mentions his Cadillac as a 2009, but we don't. It's a very different world than our 2019 was.
Yeah.
There's like hover trains and sky cycles and
And people still driving cars.
well, those are poor people. That's you and me.
Some of those cars look pretty nice.
Well, even those old fucking nice cars are just hand-me-downs now. They don't hover. So they get the call, or they have the raffle, and Starkweather 2 Delta, who is Michael Clark Duncan, gets called to the island. He's like, I've only been here 2 days or
Like
whatever.
6 months, I think it was.
Yeah, something
I'm
like
so
that.
lucky.
But
Because the one guy was doing the angry math about it.
yeah, because he's been there for 7 years.
And he punches the wall.
Yeah, he smacks the wall, and then all of a sudden everybody gets all tense about it. Like, you're not supposed
You
to.
can't be violent.
Oh, what was it? Be polite, pleasant, and peaceful.
Yes.
Yeah, there's guys
Proximity.
waiting. There's guys waiting for him when they get off the elevator. They're like, it appears you had an emotional outburst. And he's like, it's under control. Don't worry about it. Like, so it's like they're supposed to be in this peaceful society, but they just have like fucking Nazi murder guards wandering
Yeah.
around. Like,
Thank you.
100%.
I did not want to make that comparison, but it was right
it is.
there.
It's very Nazi-esque.
They're in different colored jumpsuits,
And they control everything about these people's lives. Like, Ewan McGregor takes a piss and it analyzes his pee.
Yeah.
Which honestly would be great because I'd like save me time going to the doctor and then waiting for tests. Just scan my pee. But it
have
tells him he
chlamydia.
has too much sodium.
Wait. This one goes in your ear, this one goes in your butt, and this one goes in your mouth.
Don't
Wait,
get him
hold on.
confused.
Let me. No, it's this one goes in your mouth.
I saw a girl today, like, drinking from a water fountain, and a kid walking up going, that's toilet water. And all I wanted to do is look at the kid and be like, you mean like from a toilet?
It's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes. Yeah, but they flag he has too much sodium in his system. So when he goes to get his food, he's like, I want bacon. They're like, you can't have bacon. Your nutrition report says you can't have bacon. You
It
can
had
have
the
can have
veggie
this
slush.
the
Vomit.
sassy lunch lady.
Yeah, and it's another actress I
Surprised me.
recognize.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've seen her so many times before.
That's
but-
a big thing I've noticed when watching all these Michael Bay movies. Thank God I don't have to do anymore. But a lot of almost every like side character is that guy. Like
Yeah.
there are a lot of character actors out there, but you'll watch a lot of these low budget movies and you don't know like, oh, I've never really seen that guy or that guy. All of these side characters, not all of them, but a good majority of these side characters are people that you've seen. Even if you don't know who they are, you've seen them in 27 to 400 other things.
Yeah.
You just didn't realize it at the time.
Oh, yeah. They're talking. So he's talking to Jordan 2 Delta, who is Scarlett Johansson, and she's like, man, you need to learn how to play the system. So she goes over to talk to the lunch lady, and she schmoozes her a little bit. She's like, oh, we missed you.
Gone.
So they give her bacon, and even though she's not supposed to get it. Oh, I did want to mention when he gets this veggie goo that they give him.
It's
Because
oatmeal.
Well, it's like a spray
Dishwasher.
handle. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a dishwashing spray handle thing that's like a real, like right now, spray handle that you can pull down. But she pulls it, and it's just like applesauce.
it looked like,
Oatmeal.
yeah, like a oatmeal.
I don't know. It was disgusting.
But
I
I
don't feed me out of a spray nozzle.
I
Please.
did
Unless it's
enjoy
cheese.
that, like, lead up to it was what? Fruit, something else, and
Yeah, I don't
oatmeal
remember.
or something.
It was
He's
you-
like,
basically it's like you-
surprise me, and she
So she gives him
sprays
the
the
grossest
goo.
thing.
And it's like, surprise.
Surprise! It's the easiest thing for me to serve.
I thought that was polite.
That's like
pleasant,
that's like how you should never go into your bartender and say, "Just make me what you like," because you know what? Unless you just want straight up whiskey in a glass, don't ask that.
Yeah.
Make me your favorite thing to make. Pour 2 ounces of whiskey in a glass, slide it across the table.
Did you want ice with that?
This is my favorite thing to make. Neat whiskey.
neat
Yeah.
whiskey.
Bottom shelf, so I don't have to get the ladder.
So we meet Dr. Merrick, who is Sean Bean, who is in charge of this whole thing. He seems like he's maybe just like a psychiatrist or something, but like he is the guy.
Yeah,
and he has
is
this fucking
God.
Tony Stark table,
Yeah.
which is pretty
Little-
sweet.
The little twirling diamond or pyramid
Yeah,
or
that
whatever.
part was kind of stupid. He had to have like that little diamond pyramid thing that was like so he could slide stuff around. Tony Stark just waves his hand. I'm just saying. Tony Stark was in the past from this movie.
I was just about to say, are we going to jump into a timeline here on this one? Because
he hasn't. He talks to him about his nightmares and what's going on, and
having the same dream over and over again.
yeah,
Well, draw me a picture.
There you go.
Yeah, and he draws this really good picture of this boat, which gets explained
Which was a
again.
weird fucking boat in the very beginning.
Yeah, it's a Batman boat.
Yeah.
It's like a stealth bomber boat. And he writes Renegado
or something.
It's
Latin for rebirth.
Yeah. And
Latin
like
for later on in the movie.
Sean Bean is telling him like, oh, it's because you're afraid of winning. That's why you're having these dreams. You're afraid of actually winning the lottery or whatever. And he's like, why would I be afraid? Yeah. Well, what's really happening again? Who cares? I'm not gonna give you suspense like this movie attempts to.
There was
We had this all figured out pretty quickly.
Unnecessary.
I was gonna say, like, the whole.
But it's supposed to be suspenseful. But like they figure out 119 minutes into this movie that
They're clones.
they're clones. Well, that the clones are growing the memories of the people that they were cloned from, starting with
That was like
Ewan
2 hours into
McGregor's
the movie.
That's what I said. 119. It's 1 minute short
Oh,
of 2
okay,
hours.
okay.
That they're growing like. Starting with Ewan McGregor's generation, which is the Delta, Alpha, or whatever I don't Echo, whatever. They number them out of order in Greek, and it was starting with his generation and on. They all had issues where like they were growing the memories of their hosts or whatever, so they were basically
Humanizing.
gaining autonomy.
Yeah.
They were. He was questioning everything. That's Ewan McGregor's big thing. He's questioning everything.
Literally everything.
Why?
Where does the food from these hoses go? Why does this chip do this? Why does that do
Why
that?
are we injecting nutrients into this thing? And the guy he's working with, by the way, is just like, I don't know. Nutrients go into the thing. Nutrients are good for food. We eat food.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
I got a question for you. Where did these tubes go?
He goes off on these questions when he's talking to Sean Bean, though, and he's like, basically, it's like, why can't I have bacon? Why is everything white? Who does my laundry? Where do my shoes come from? Like, it's like you asked a little
He's
kid.
literally
ask
a
me any
5-year-old.
question, which I guess they are, right?
Yeah.
They're educated
To 15.
somewhat up to a 15-year-old, but they have the experience. They're around for 3 years, and they don't give them any adult stuff. Like the book they have them all reading together is like See Jane Run or some shit.
No,
Dick
that
and
was the
Jane.
best part. Like a bunch of guys are sitting in a room. Get up, Dick.
But they don't see the humor in that because they don't know the penis between the leg.
Yes, because they don't teach them sex.
Yeah. They don't know anything. Stop touching.
You're
Yeah.
gonna make a clone.
Every
You
time-
gotta dumb it down just a little. And
Every time Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson get too close, the
Proximity.
guys yell at him proximity, which all I could think of was Arrested Development. No touching! Sean Bean tells him he's going to run some tests on him, and he's like, what kind of tests? Oh, don't worry, they're nice tests.
Nice
and then he puts
tests,
like
that
little
was-
CG bugs in
Oh,
his
no, he
eyeball.
straps the motherfucker down.
Yes, he
first.
puts him in a fucking torture chair. It's like the worst gynecologist chair I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a total Clockwork Orange thing again.
Nice
Where it's like
tests.
holding his eyeballs open.
Yeah, it holds his eyes open, it straps his arms down, and they put little fucking matrix bugs in his eyes. And he's like, don't worry, it's not going to hurt. And he starts screaming as
He's
they're
like,
going
"Yeah,
in.
it's pretty
He's
fucking
like,
painful."
that fucking hurts. And he's like, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. But it will when you pee him out tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the best part.
We get a new survivor, which kind of, again, is a hint at what's going on. A new quote-unquote survivor. They're-
Somebody they pulled from the contamination.
Yes, a new person they found who wasn't contaminated, and it's the guy playing him is fake Moby from
Yeah.
How I Met Your Mother.
Also
He's
from Community.
Also fake Dean Pelton from Community. Yeah. And they're trying to teach him like how to inject the nutrients into this thing. They're like, no, straight down into the thing. And he's just like the dumbest little kid, like, duh.
And then were we like that when we came out of contamination?
And even
Yes.
the one guy who's been there for 7 years, he's just fucking with this dude. He goes up and he's like flicking his ear, and the guy's like slapping his own head. He's like, oh, he had something on his ear. Get the fuck out of here. Like the overlord person. What do they call them? Censors? I think they've said it twice.
I don't know.
The people watching.
Also, but that guy was, he was from, I'm sure everybody that listens to this knows that he was from Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Oh, I don't know. He is one of those guys I recognize.
He's-
Wait,
he was
people
one
who
of the
listen to us,
janitors.
not people who are here. Okay.
And then this weird guy who's kind of Ewan McGregor's best friend with the long hair. Again, another guy I recognize. And there was just too many people for me to go through and get
Yeah.
everybody's names. I kind of feel bad because I like to give these people credit because this guy was actually pretty good.
I thought he did great for his
He's
role.
weird, and he pulled Patrick's favorite trick and started talking about math.
Yeah.
He was trying to use math and like replacing numbers in their name with letters to figure out who was going to get drawn next because he thinks the lottery's fixed or whatever. And he's like, and if you do this and this, it spells Jones, which is his name, Jones something something. And he's like, so that means I'm next. And they're just like, yep, probably.
Nope. Guess what? Someone decides to have a baby right then.
Yeah, so this pregnant lady who's working in there starts having her baby. And like, oh, that means you get to go to the island. Bye.
Yay.
And that's when I'm just like, so the island's definitely death. Like, I already had an idea because they hadn't really shown anybody leave. They just had Michael Clark Duncan.
I had seen this already. I saw this when it came out. So
yeah, and I mean, within the next 10 minutes, I already know the whole. I was like, I get it. By the way, Apple computers still exist, so that's exciting. All the computers have Apple logos on the back.
Did they?
Yeah.
Let's see. I saw Aquafina, Puma,
Michelob Ultra.
Michelob Ultra.
I didn't start noticing
Chevy.
it a lot until later.
Chevy, yeah, definitely Caddy.
So I took some notes.
the
Yeah,
truck
there's
also.
Cadillac. There's a lot of them. Not nearly as bad as Transformers, though.
Oh no, that had what, 52?
55, Patrick. Not placements, 55 brands. Which means if you each brand got 2 placements, we're talking at least 110 placements. Yup.
Yeah, it was literally a walking commercial. It was a 2.5 hour long commercial, 3 hour long
It was
commercial.
fucking stupid. It actually won some kind of award, and I hope it was like a mocking them award, but I have a feeling it was like an advertising award. Anyways, so Ewan McGregor fucks up his own computer. He just pulls this chip out of the side, which I guess is how computers work. I feel like Apple wouldn't want their name on a thing that's that easily broken, but hey, they put their name on iPhones, so. And he goes to his supervisor. He's like, hey, my computer's broken. And the guy's like, yo, I'm busy. Take the key, go get your own, put on the contamination kit and go get your new chip or whatever. So he goes into this like boiler room area and he meets Steve Buscemi, who is, he calls Mac, but it's like James McCord or something like that. And he's like an outside guy. He comes in and works on the stuff underneath, but he knows what's going on.
He's
but
from
doesn't say
Sector
anything.
5, I think.
Yeah,
it was.
he's a real human. Yeah, they say he's from Sector 5. And he basically, Ewan McGregor just keeps faking that his chip broke so he can go hang out with Steve Buscemi.
And get drunk.
Who has booze.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, where'd you get this stuff? And he's like, yeah, it's old. It's from a long time ago. I'm like, motherfucker, you bought a fucking pint of Jack Daniels on your way to work.
I know, but I do like his flask. It is like a little handheld. It looks like an old school gas can,
Yeah.
but that fits in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was dope.
When he's Ewan McGregor goes to his little like corner that he hangs out in there or whatever, and there's like pictures of like bikini models and stuff all over the wall, and he's like, oh, are these your friends? And he's like,
you
yeah,
could say that.
sometimes.
Where are their clothes?
Yeah, where are their clothes? And then he says something about talking to the doctor, and he's like, and Steve Buscemi says, oh, all doctors are like that. They have a God complex. What's God?
Imagine you wish something, and then this is a person who ignores you.
Who denies you of it.
And then Ewan McGregor sees a moth and he catches it and he keeps it for like a night. I guess he keeps it and then he realizes if he lets it go, it'll show him how to get out.
Yeah.
It'll show him where it came from. This is when we see how they're born. Steve Buscemi has to go fix a computer somewhere, and there's there's this big bubble that kind of looks like a breast implant.
Or those like milk sacks you used to get back in the day.
Well, it's to
fuck gets a milk sack.
I did.
it's
when
in
I was younger, dude.
it's in other places other than here, but they're supposed to resemble a placenta.
I guess, and it's filled with KY jelly.
Yes.
Yeah, that
And-
was oozy.
It's like the Matrix. They're waking him up from the Matrix. Like they show this guy, they pull him out of the bubble, they wash him off, and they like
Pull a gag out of his
Yeah.
throat.
Oh yeah,
pull stuff out of his
him,
throat.
Yeah, making him breathe at the beginning when he was being, born. I guess you want to call it.
and then the camera kind of goes down, and this is where I got the Matrix thing. Other than just the bubble, but like they go down and it shows below where like a bunch of them are being stored.
Yeah.
and it looks like the shot of the Matrix. There's even red lighting.
Yeah.
Like, so far we've got the Matrix, Logan's Run, 1984.
Truman Show.
Well, we haven't seen the Truman Show part yet.
Oh.
We don't know that, but yeah, that's definitely there.
Oh, and Total Recall.
Yeah, and then so it shows because the memories and stuff, and it follows the tubes that are feeding the people back up, and then we see a weird guy up there working on injecting the nutrients. So that's what they're doing is they're injecting the nutrients to feed the new clones who are going to come up.
Yeah, free labor, bitches.
Xbox. That's the other.
Oh, yeah.
That's
There you
because
go.
they're right here. Scarlett Johansson and Ewan McGregor have their like VR fight.
She made a comment about it earlier. About
Yeah,
going,
she said she was gonna beat him, and like they have this thing where they like stand over there and they fight. But then it's just like this Xbox logo, and I'm sitting here going, "Well, that's Xbox. That's the first Xbox. That would not have that game that you guys are playing would not have run on that Xbox."
Right? Maybe they went back to
Dreamcast,
old
Virtual
school.
Fighter 2. I mean,
I guess maybe that's like people do like retro flashback stuff, like the cans like you get Pepsi now and stuff. That's like the throwback cans. Xbox next Xbox would just be a throwback to the first one.
Yeah, but it's all VR.
And then they go to this like Mass Effect bar afterwards where they're like hanging out, and the girl's like, "You can't have whatever fun stuff you want," whatever she says.
You can have Vegemite.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's like,
yeah.
"I'll take the veggie stuff," and they just are all drinking these like gloopy looking things and whatever. And one of the guys does. One of the two friends shows up, and he's just heard the word "dude" from one of the
that
guards.
was pretty good.
And he's so excited, and they keep saying "dude." And he's like, "Yeah, dude, like DOOD,
Yeah.
dude,"
'Cause
which was
they're,
funny
like,
to see in the
5.
subtitles because
Yeah.
the subtitles are saying "dude"
Yeah.
correctly, and then he spells DOOD. And so Scarlett Johansson gets drawn to go to the island. So this proximity warning thing, her and Ewan McGregor are sitting there getting all close again. Again, they don't know what sex is, so they don't kiss or anything.
Their arms are just holding each other.
The guy
though.
comes over and he's like, "Proximity." Everybody is near everybody all the time. Like this bar was full of
Yeah.
people who were standing inches from each other. They were having a conversation, and the one guy was leaning over Ewan McGregor's shoulder and like leaning on his shoulder and stuff. Nobody said anything then. It's only when these two touch.
Maybe it's because like things flicker and they're like no sex.
They have little sensors that are like, "Hey, hormones."
Yeah, 100%. That has to be what it is.
Yeah, it's just confusing to me. So there's another nightmare, and then he wakes up, and this is when he takes the moth back to the boiler room, and he lets it go, and he follows it.
And then he sees all the things.
Yeah, he
gets
gets
to, like,
into
the upper
the
floor.
the upper
He sees the
world.
baby get born and
Yeah.
them kill
Oh
her.
yeah.
Yeah, they kill that lady right away.
He sees Michael Clunkin.
Michael Clunkin.
He sees him performing surgery on him, but then he wakes up out of anesthesia and they just like he barrels out of it because what we don't know is his sponsor is a famous football player and
Yeah.
who needs a liver.
Yeah, who says it? It's Nicole. Is it Yvette Nicole Brown?
Yeah,
Nicole
somebody else from
Yvette Brown from
Community. So far,
Shirley.
2 people from Community.
Yeah, Shirley from
Adderall.
Community is like the nurse.
Oh,
And
she was like the part of the
receptionist
security.
or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, Starkweather, we have him in here." And she's all excited. And then we get another guy who's Glenn Morshower.
Yeah.
Who has been in another one of these movies. He's just flying the helicopter. He has nothing. He doesn't do anything in this movie. But he gets all pissed off. I like that. He's like, I can't remember exactly what he said.
There's
but
a storm and we don't fly in storms.
Yeah, but she's all excited and he's just like, "Ma'am, there's a storm. We don't fly in bad weather." Like he's just like his delivery is just like, it's funny. But we do see, the mom die, and then they deliver the baby to the same lady and some guy.
Yeah, and that's
Mom die, get murdered.
It's
Well,
revealed
you know.
now that they
Is it
are
murder? They don't have souls.
The baby comes out. Oh, can I hold her? And,
Just a second.
And then leg straps.
So if your clone has the baby and your clone doesn't have a soul, does that mean your baby doesn't have a soul and it's just a clone baby? So is your baby not real? Is this going to be a whole thing in
No,
the future?
it's a whole artificial insemination thing. Obviously, they took his semen and her.
Yeah, but it's in the clone lady.
They probably inseminated the egg until it was fertile and then put it inside of this woman.
They inseminated a soul into it, just like
No,
the Scientologists
they took the
say.
2 people who had the eggs
No,
in
a
the
soul
sperm.
comes down and takes it like the Scientologist.
Yeah, the Scientologists have
They
like
just go
soul
into
sperm
it.
that fly around and they go into your body.
I'm
Yep,
just
just like
wondering
that.
what percentage that would make you soulless. So, like you like partial.
I don't know. Let's ask
soulish,
Jack. He's soulless.
If you come out-
33%, 34. I
If
mean,
you come out as a clone baby and a ginger, they just go,
You're
"Well,
fucked."
start over."
Flush.
we're gonna go with China's rule on this one.
So yeah, Michael Clark Duncan tries to run away, and they have these. Oh, they do mention right before he wakes up and he's freaking out, and the guy goes, "I don't want to have to euthanize this guy for his liver." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, you're gonna kill him anyway. I don't understand. What were you gonna do? Take his liver and then send him back and be like, never mind, didn't go to the island. Like you were gonna kill him." Either way, he's running, and this is when we first see, I guess this is Chekhov's gun, right?
Yeah.
That these guns that they have that shoot these little, like, grappling hook dart things.
But
that
they use it as fish.
Yeah, well, it doesn't work that
Fishing
well. It
mode
goes
is
into the
fucking
muscles.
annoying me.
They shoot it into his calves, and they're like pulling him back.
Oh my God.
But it doesn't pull back. Like, you can fake this with wires and stuff, guys. Like, make it look like these guns can pull something. Because later on,
Right?
when we see these guns again, he shoots. Later on, Ewan McGregor gets shot with it, and it's just like,
Dangling.
come on now. And he's like, ow, it hurts. But, like, you can't pull anybody with it. So what the fuck is the point?
I think when you, like, because they, like, pull it up, and so it tugs, and it might send maybe extra volts get shocked into you, because you're
I
just
don't think
like...
it's electric. I don't think it's like a
Like a
taser.
taser. My question is the aspect of, like, how does it know when to stop at, like, a tether? Like, are you got a second trigger to pull it? Or, I mean...
You know what? Surprise, guys. And this will be the 400th time I've said this in the last 5 episodes or whatever. Surprise. Nobody thought about this. We're thinking way more about this than anybody involved. So Sean Bean notices Ewan McGregor on the footage. He's watching the footage of Michael Clark Duncan trying to escape. Ewan McGregor was like crouched behind like a laundry basket or something.
Yeah, he runs away in the end.
Scared technician or something like that.
Yeah.
The black suit told him.
Yeah, the guard guy is like, yeah, he was just some
It
fucking
happens
whatever.
more times than you'd think.
But they notice
Guard
Sean
guy.
Bean, who just talked to Ewan McGregor hours ago, doesn't recognize Ewan McGregor, but he does notice that he has the
bracelet.
the bracelet that they have. All the clones have bracelets on their wrist.
You got to separate them.
So they go to look, got to keep them separated.
I think branding comes in later.
Yeah, well, they brand it, and then they put the band over the brand, which I guess in case they get rid of the wristband, they can still figure out who they are.
Exactly. It's a failsafe.
So they go to look for him, though, and this is presumably at least a couple of hours later, or an hour later, or a half hour later. It doesn't matter, because when they go to look for him, the floor tile that he snuck in with is still out of place.
Yeah.
So nobody's noticed this floor tile out of place until Sean Bean. They took this footage to Sean Bean. He watched it, presumably in his underground bunker or whatever. Then they go back, and then they find, and they're like, "Oh, he must have went through here."
Again, we think too much.
And they mention that the product is on the loose, so they're all referred to as product, which is
Or
wonderful.
agnets.
Agnates, I think is what they call them. Yeah, but they're just calling them product because they're just merchandise. So Ewan McGregor goes to get Scarlett Johansson.
Merchandising.
Look, if I'm escaping from an underground bunker,
I'm going for Scarlett.
I'm taking Scarlett Johansson with me. That's all I'm
Fuck me.
saying.
It was his best friend.
She chose him. That's what he says later on. So yeah, he busts into the women's sector and like pangs on her door, and she's like, "Oh, how nice! You came to say goodbye
You're not
to me.
supposed to be
we need to
here."
leave."
Yeah, and she's like, "I'm going to the island. There is no island." And they're telling everybody that Lincoln 6 Echo is contaminated, and if you get anywhere near him, you'll get contaminated. So just tell us when you see him. See something, say something. Michael Bay has a big thing
More
for the
Nazis.
government controlling everything. Doesn't
Yeah,
he
he does.
There's the chase scene. They're getting out. They're trying to go through the boiler room to get to outside or whatever. And there's a Home Alone moment where like somebody knocks over like a container of ball bearings or something, and this guy is like whoop 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 whoop, and like slips and falls, but then he like fucking racks his head on a metal pipe, which is hilarious. But
Special effects start kicking in at this point.
The godlike man happens.
Godlike man.
That's where
They
we
see-
found the voice, the godlike man
Oh,
voice.
okay.
This is where that is.
They see all of that imprinting happening.
Yeah, they see everybody getting Clockwork Orange, and he's like, "Ned, do you still think there's an island?" And then, so this is the Truman Show moment. They're running. They go through these doors. This door that says like escape route or whatever, because it's for people who don't live there, just work there. And they're outside in this like beautiful ocean and islands and all this stuff.
They
and
take
then they
the
run.
elevator to get away from.
Yeah, because
the
they have to
black
go
suits.
up, but they run through the hologram.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're
Right
like,
out of
whoa,
the
that's
gate.
not
Like,
even
what
real
the
either.
fuck
Yeah.
is happening?
Which, by the way, I mean, I get it. You're running for your life, but like, I feel like if your entire reality had just been crumbled on you in less than 45 seconds, running through that thing and having everything just be like, this is all fake would cause the majority of people to have a breakdown.
Yeah.
They wouldn't just keep running.
I was about to say he ended up handling it well once
They
they,
both
were
did.
in the
Yeah.
real world.
They handle it very well. They were the most stable people on Earth, based off of two very unstable people, from what I can gather.
Jack. Here, straight up. Oh.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. They're in the middle of the desert, right? Well, that's where we are right now, basically. They're in the middle of the desert. We do get the Michael Bay spinny shot from Bad Boys and stuff, where they're like on top of this thing, and you can see that there's endless desert in all directions.
And I'm like, are they in Arizona, Utah? What's going on here?
Yeah, and it turns out it's Arizona.
Yep.
It's clearly not because there are no cactuses or no saguaros at least. And Arizona is the Sonoran Desert.
Well, southern Arizona is.
Well, the part they would be in where there's desert. The desert part of Arizona is the Sonoran Desert.
Because I was saying Utah.
They talk to the weird guy with the long hair right here, and he's like, says something about Lincoln 6 Echo, and he's like, I just want to make sure he's okay because you said he's contaminated because he's one of my best friends. He's my only best friend. Oh, we do get introduced to Kim Coates because, like, while they're out there trying to escape, we go back and there's some investors or some, I guess, potential people to be clones.
Yeah.
Coming to
consumers.
Coming to look at the thing, and Kim Coates is in this movie also, not credited, just like he isn't in Bad Boys, and but he has a lot bigger role in this. In Bad Boys, he was just a carjacker.
Yeah.
This, it's not a big role, but he comes back.
He has like 3 scenes, yeah.
But he plays Mr. Whitman, who's kind of just a sniveling, like, sycophant sidekick guy for Merrick. He does all the grunt work of, like, the public relations.
He's the salesman.
And
he's the face.
They're hiring Albert Laurent, who is Johansson, who is in all kinds of cool stuff.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he's core athlete for Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in Blood Diamond. He was Horus in the original Stargate. Of course, mask and stuff.
Oh,
but,
yeah, that's right.
he was also in the movie that I hate, but I know you like. He was in Constantine, the Keanu Reeves one, Papa Midnight.
Oh, he's
in all kinds of stuff, but yeah. But he's like a special forces guy, and they're hiring him.
He even says Black Force or something.
Yeah, Blackwater.
Yeah.
He was in, his team were like Delta Force, and he's from some, like, I don't know.
Was he
whatever?
Like,
they're private
he,
military.
Recommended by the Defense Department.
Yeah, DOD recommended him because they needed somebody, and it's whatever. They're PMCs. He asks how long how long since they've escaped, and he tells him 4 hours and 26 minutes.
36.
And I only noted that because I was like, wow, that's almost as long as this movie's been so far. So that now they're out. The 2 fucking clones are out running around in the real world. What's going on? I don't know. Oh, they stare at a rattlesnake. They're like looking around. They're trying to figure out where they are. They're like, look, the world really did get destroyed because they're in Arizona.
What happens if we get contaminated? Then we should be dead.
And then they see a rattlesnake.
And they see a rattlesnake. And they're like, well, that's still alive. But it like snips at him. And he's like, but it's mean. He leaves. I'm like, that thing would have bit the shit out of your face. But he has some like matches or something that I guess he got from Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, that was the box that he put the moth in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because it does say on the thing, they see the signs for the roads, and it's like Route 39, and he looks at the box, and it's like Route 39, and it's some place, but then it says
Tucson
where the
Sky.
skies meet, or where the road meets Tucson skies, or something like that. And I was like, yay, that's us.
Woo, woo.
So you go to this little like roadhouse bar kind of thing, and so the bartender.
All right, man, there's that whole thing with him on the motorcycle in the dream, and then he sees somebody ride by on a motorcycle after he wakes up in the desert, and they're like, what was that? And he's just like, I don't know, but I want one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when he like looks at the signs and busts
Not gonna
out the
lie,
match.
didn't even know there was a motorcycle in the dream. Don't remember that. Blacked it out.
It's okay.
I remember the motorcycle driving by, and he's like, I want one. I was like, I bet you
I
do.
want to say early on he had one of those, like he's posing on the motorcycle with a big smile or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
not
the memories
riding it,
of,
he's just sitting it.
Lincoln.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I was trying my hardest. But at the bar, we have the bartender, who's a recognizable actor, a guy named Chris Ellis. And then in the bathroom, we see Cameron from Modern Family.
Yes.
The actor's name is Eric Stone Street. But so they're in there and they're meeting. They're looking for Steve Buscemi, McCord. And they're like, yeah, we know him. Like, fuck's wrong with you guys? Because they're wearing their jumpsuits. You know?
You were like one of those UFO people?
Yeah, and they're like,
UFO?
"Ooh,
What? No.
What?
And it's like, yeah, he's in the can taking a dump. And he's like, Ewan McGregor has no idea what any of this slang means. And he's like, I don't know. I got to go find him. He's dumping in a can or something.
You mean he's in a can? What? He's taking a dump?
Yeah, he's in a can? So he goes into the bathroom and
You're
finds
starting to
him.
bug me. There's a door on the right.
He goes to the bathroom and he finds him and he like busts the bathroom door in and pulls Steve Buscemi off the toilet while he's shitting. And you know he continued shitting. Like that scared him and he shit down his legs.
And then it cuts to the scene that Patrick likes.
Yeah.
Where they're lining up they put a shot in front of her and he's like straight up. And so she looks
straight up.
Yeah, Jack. And she's like, okay. Straight up and just
you
stares
want a
at the
drink?
sky.
Yes. Jack. Okay.
And then cut back
straight
to the
up.
bathroom.
And Ewan McGregor's holding Steve Buscemi up against the wall. And he's like questioning
Pants
him
down.
about what's going on. Yeah, Steve Buscemi's pants around his ankles.
He's got like spades or something on his boxers.
Yeah, he's got, silly boxers because that's fun. And that's when Cameron walks in and he's like a trucker. Actually, I looked at the IMDb. It said Ed the Trucker.
Nice.
So he's got a name.
But Buscemi is saying, why don't we get out of here and go to a place where we can be alone?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Where we can talk
Cam
in
walks
private
in.
or something.
Yeah.
We can be by ourselves. And he walks in. He's like, give you boys a minute? Or he's
No,
like,
it's not what you think.
surprise.
Sure.
We've got a homophobic joke in a Michael Bay movie.
What?
Oh, bunch of queers over there, huh? And then you turn around and play a gay man on TV for
9 years.
11 years or something
That's
like
what
that.
pays.
So they go back to Steve Buscemi's house, and that's his wife or girlfriend is the girl from Saw,
Yes.
who ends up being like the
Susie?
I think that's the character's
She
name.
actually
The girl's
becomes
name is
Jigsaw.
something with an S, but yeah, she ends up being Jigsaw's like apprentice, whatever.
Padawan?
Well, she doesn't have the little braids, so Steve Buscemi basically tells them the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So he gives them the whole thing, like, you guys are clones, and
She keeps talking, and he's just like, hey, you know the thing we talked about you talking? Oh, yeah. And he's like, you want to run down and get a sixer of Budweiser for us? I got to...
Well, Steve Buscemi is very misogynistic in this movie, too, because, like, even here, after he tells them what's going on, and he says he's going to help them, and they're driving in the car, and he's giving them money. He's like, here, you can use my credit card, but I have to report it stolen within 24 hours, or they'll know I helped you. And Ewan McGregor gives it to Scarlett Johansson, and then he's like, never give a woman your credit card.
I was about to say, you got to give that that moment of the sex aspect when Scarlett Johansson started pulling out all.
I'm gonna get to that. I just was talking
okay.
about how he's misogynistic because he's like, don't give women your credit card,
Doesn't
and
mean
women
he
shouldn't
hates
talk.
them.
That doesn't misogynistic doesning mean he hates them. It just means that he thinks they're less than men.
I thought it was the hatred of men.
No, we are below them.
It's just thinking
We are
that
not as
women
smart as
are a subservient.
But I'm
species.
super SMRT.
So yeah,
Everyone is below me.
They're packing clothes for them to like go and hide and go on the run in or whatever. And
Backpack,
she's going
purse.
through his this is a backpack for men and this is a purse for women. And then they're going through the girlfriend's clothes and she keeps pulling out all these like sex costumes. And he's like, yeah, no, not that. That's mail order. Yeah, you don't wear that in public.
Normal people don't wear this in public.
This scene is so long.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why
The
this
movie
clothes-
was long.
Well, exactly. Why if this clothes packing scene was 3 minutes instead of 11 and a half minutes? Okay, it's probably 5.
All right.
But it would be like, hey, let's get you some clothes. Boom, 5 minutes cut out of this movie.
Montage.
I could punch up the script. I'm telling you. So,
All right, let me question this. Okay, after the whole clothing thing, like he's driving them to wherever, and this is when the credit card cash thing comes into play. They show a scene where he's driving the truck and there's like 8 motorcycles behind him. I don't know if you... Okay, obviously you don't remember it. It was literally one scene. I'm like, okay, so like he's got bikers with him? Like,
Well, I
and
think
like
he's
that's all
just-
you see it for.
he's driving
Like,
on a highway in Arizona. There's fucking bikers all over the highways in Arizona.
I'd expect 16 people on motorcycles to fucking pass me at that point.
They didn't want to drive in the
I
dirt.
mean, his truck did
But-
look good. I'm not saying his truck didn't look good. Like,
They don't want to drive their motorcycles in the dirt; they'll crash. So they've decided they're going to track Ewan McGregor by using the CG bugs, right?
Yeah.
And at that moment is when they cut to him in the bathroom peeing out the CG bugs.
ting, ting, ting.
Yeah.
Which
was
it
like-
didn't look as painful coming out. It looked a little uncomfortable, but not as painful as it going in his
Yeah,
It
eyeball.
was like the end of a kidney stone. The eyeball was like the beginning.
That's like a big FU from a doctor. I mean, that's the whole aspect. Oh, no, this is not that bad. And then you peel them out and you're like, that was so much lighter than what you... them crawling into my fucking eyeballs and
little
peeing
tiny
them out.
claws climbing all over my
pulling
eyes.
your lids down a little bit and be like, no, I got to get under this shit right down here.
Now we see like the technology of the world. So far we've only seen like these desert fucking towns, right, where there's no technology. So we get to like the real city here or
Sector
whatever,
5.
and we see the floating train and like there's
the hover
like,
train.
Yeah, there's like a hover train, but also later on there's trains just flying through the sky like it's fucking Futurama.
Cable cars, but without the bottom.
Or
and like,
cables.
Well, no, there were cables still. I saw the cables in the city.
Okay.
But it was like, oh, we're showing these buildings at like 50 stories up, and oh, yeah, there's still like the fucking cable car going around. But it's, it's like the fucking roller coasters where you sit in them, but at the same time it's attached above you, so it just swings you outward and shit.
I don't
know. I think there was a Superman at
All I'm
Six
saying
Flags.
is,
I don't do
saying
fucking
is
roller
they
coasters.
need tubes with people in it if they're gonna go Futurama.
Yeah.
But where did the tubes go?
So Steve Buscemi is going to, presumably to buy them tickets. He says, wait here, and he notices...
It was the worst idea.
Well, he
But
notices
we're not
like
asking
agents...
for that. We're
No, he
just
gets the
asking for your
tickets first.
help.
And then he was like, I'll be right back. I'm going to get you a map of LA. And
Okay,
that's
whatever
when
it
he
was,
notices
he
the
walks
agents.
away for some reason, and he notices
Couple
the agents.
times.
And, well, but this is... He sees the people walking around, and he notices that they're watching Ewan McGregor. So he yells, run.
No, they walk right by him. and
Well,
he's
one of
got
them did, yeah. He noticed like 15
The
of them.
fucking...
though. But
well,
it
he
doesn't-
saw the earpiece when he walked by the guy with the fucking briefcase. Which
I don't
was...
know. Well, he saw the guy put down the briefcase and pull out a gun.
The gun in the briefcase? Who doesn't want that? I want the Tommy gun in the fucking cello case. Like, that's cool gangster right there.
So
He yells, run.
he shoots Steve Buscemi, and Steve Buscemi's dead. And then they get that pinned on them, by the way. They get
Oh, of
arrested
course.
eventually for the murder of McCord, whatever, James McCord.
The missing credit card.
When they're running away, well, way before that, like right here during this chase, they get arrested during this next 45-minute chase. So they're trying to run away, and they get into this like shed, and they find a nail gun. Don't know what it is. She almost shoots Ewan McGregor in the face, which is kind of funny. And a crowbar, and this guy comes in looking for him, and they like lock the door, and he's like reaching through a hole in the wood trying to unlock the door, and she just fucking nails this dude's hand to this
Literally.
door, and they shove it open, and Ewan McGregor just cracks this dude's skull open with a fucking tire
He
iron
did
or
like
whatever.
twice, and then of course it showed a scene afterwards where he's got the nails in his hand and he's still writhing from the pain from that.
But why did they leave all that stuff behind? They don't have that stuff with them when they leave.
I don't know.
Because they're stupid, I guess. So my next note is long, boring chase. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to break down the chase scenes, just like with Transformers.
I know
and
they
stuff.
just make it onto the train.
But basically, they end up getting arrested for the murder of Steve Buscemi. That's when they're in the back of the cop car. That's how this chase ends. Because he says, you two are wanted for the murder of whatever McCord.
I thought that was after they were already in LA.
Sure, it's all part of the same chase. They get on the train goes to
Okay.
LA. I don't fucking know. It
Cool.
didn't make any sense.
Let's go. All right, so now they're arrested.
These action sequences don't stick together well. I was having trouble staying awake during the action scenes.
Well, I know, because I know they make it to LA and they're like, oh, what? Look at all this stuff. Oh, let's check up. So they go to the information booth and he's like, they swipe the card, of course, and then he's asks for himself, or they do Sarah Jordan first, and then they're like Thomas Lincoln, and then he gets the address for Thomas Lincoln, and that's when all the cops come at them and they're arrested.
No, that's how it works. But
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know
the
what order.
The
it had
Tom Lincoln part, they're like, there's no listing, and then they went with her,
and she's
then
in New
the
York.
son
There you go.
saw her thinking.
Yeah,
she
but
was
all I
just
know is
playing
because
a
when they're in the
joke.
police car, he says, "I'm Tom Lincoln. Look me up," and they look him up.
And then that's when he
Yeah.
gets that.
It doesn't matter. It's
No, it
surprising, it's
doesn't.
confusing, and it's not well thought out. So the cops decide that they're gonna stop in the middle of the intersection to like check
It
on
was
something.
so fucking weird, man. Like,
And
we're 2 minutes away, but we're gonna chill in this intersection. Just
Jimon
so-
Hansu and his people are still chasing them, and they have this semi that just fucking slams into this police car and chops it right the fucking half. So the front half with the police in it, they're dead. The
dead.
back
Yeah.
half with the two clones in it, they're still alive. 'cause
Product.
That's who they want to save. Well, they don't really want to save him. But then they get out of these trucks with their like army of two masks. They have like these fucking
That was kind of dope.
battle armor
I liked
masks
it.
on, and they're just blasting everybody.
They had the scene when they arrived in L.A. and they're like opening the briefcase, going through police, FBI, DEA, ACF.
Yeah, all the
fucking-
labels.
Oh yeah, they have all the badges.
they're just interchangeable. I'll just stack like
yeah,
this.
well, it's the badge. It's the things to put on your
Yeah.
body armor so they can pretend to be whoever.
Something no one can buy whatsoever unless you work for the police.
So they get onto a semi, which is clearly like a driverless semi. Also, Mack truck advertisement. So this is like a driverless semi, I would assume, because this semi just keeps driving this whole time. And they did show it's like a weird futuristic thing with like a really sloped front cab area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I think it was supposed to be like a driverless thing, and that's why it keeps driving. But it's got like all these train wheels on the back.
Yeah.
Like, is what they said they were.
Like,
Which
yeah,
I guess,
it's
I guess
exactly
they're
it,
getting rid
like-
of them to replace them to make all the trains
Yeah,
float.
scrap metal, but she can't fit. She can't fit through.
Yeah,
to
she
scoot
can't
forward.
get underneath. And
Yeah.
so he like pulls a strap, and one of them falls off, and he's like, "Oh, that was neat," because it's hitting these cars that are chasing him. So he just starts pushing these things off, and just
Cars,
crushing cars.
explosions,
Yeah.
destruction.
Yeah, this was some of the
Nothing
fun
you'd
stuff.
expect from a Michael Bay movie. I mean,
This was some of the fun stuff. Cars getting hit and flipping over. A lot of this, I mean, there was obviously some CG, but a lot of the cars getting flipped or a lot of the cars blowing up
pretty
were
real.
practical in this particular sequence.
Yeah.
Not in this entire movie. There's a lot
Yeah.
of bad CG cars in a little bit here. But this part had a lot of stuff that looked very practical. And that's when we get like this sky cycle thing that comes up, and he calls it like a black wasp.
Black Wasp or
And I
Blackjack.
thought it was a little tiny helicopter or something. It's like you didn't really see it. You just see this black thing going by. But then when he gets up behind him, it's like a motorcycle that has like a back seat with like a gun on it.
Like a turret.
I don't know. And of course,
He knows how to ride it.
It's something. It's something that you're looking at, going, and they're still driving cars with fucking wheels.
yeah, it's got
I
like
gotta
a,
have the 22-inch rims because, well, I'm
have a
driving a
jetpack.
fucking car. I mean, it's
so
standard at this
when
point.
you have like floating cars, is it going to be like whoever has the bigger floaty pad on the bottom is a cool guy?
no colors.
Floating on 22s.
yeah, I'm pumping out like 3 feet of air at the bottom of this to hold me up.
That's the hydraulics. It just blows air and
I know how to double jump. I've played a video game before.
so they make the people crash whatever on the sky cycle thing, and then it's miraculously unharmed, so he jumps on it. How do you know how to drive this? Jets off, literally, because there's a little jet in the back. So they're hiding. They get up to this building, and there's this big like R logo on the side of this building, and they're trying to hide in there. And these guys come up and they start shooting at them from above, and the helicopter is flying around them, shooting them from the outside. They're trying to hide in the circle of the R, and then they try to go behind it, and it starts to fall. And Johansson sees it and is like, "Oh fuck!" Because that thing's gonna fall and crush a bunch of people.
Collateral damage.
Yeah, and it falls, of course. And I mean, this was 40 stories. I think he
Yeah.
said 40, maybe 70. I don't know. He said a number that was 2 digits. This thing falls with them inside of it, and they just walk out.
They get caught in the random netting by some construction, either at the bottom of this building or 2 buildings away. I don't know how far a fucking R falls off a building, but
And then this guy saves them or pulls them
Pulls
out.
them
And he's
up out
like,
of the
"Oh,
net."
Jesus must love you," which I guess explains it.
And he's the boss from Chuck, right?
Yeah, he's the guy who runs the fake Best Buy. I can't think what they call it.
I want to know what a fake Best Buy is.
They don't call it Best Buy on
Well,
that. But
okay,
it's-
I
Instead
understand
of Geek
that.
Squad, it's
Cloud9 and shit.
It doesn't matter. It's not this.
yeah, he runs
God
the green Best Buy. It's green instead of blue. So somehow, yeah, I guess they looked up the information, whatever. Somehow they find Ewan McGregor's like clone or real person's house.
It was
They
in the
got
police
there.
car.
in the police car, they got the address.
Okay, is that where they got it
He
from?
was clever. He rolled and was like cunning. Bam. Yo, look me up. That's where I live in Seabody Lake Lane or some shit. I can't remember.
Because I just looked up and he was like scanning his face and getting into a secret base or something, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And it turns out it's just it's Tom Lincoln's house, who's the real Ewan McGregor, who has the Scottish accent,
there
which
you
is
go.
kind of a funny little bit. Because they sound different since he wasn't born in Scotland. And he's like, "Why do we sound different?" And like Tom Lincoln keeps trying to tell him, like saying stuff. And then Ewan McGregor's
Trying to copy
Mocking
Lincoln
it.
6 is, I think he's trying to make it sound like him because he's supposed
Oh
to
yeah,
be
not
him.
mocking, but like
Yeah,
mimicking.
he's mimicking it. And then he's like, "Will you stop doing that?" But yeah, they go in there and they're looking around and he comes out Tom Lincoln comes out and like attacks them real quick, right? Or like tries to. He like hits Ewan McGregor through. Like I think he does knock him through a glass table, maybe. And then he figures out. Obviously, he sees himself looking back at himself.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna kill you. You're.
I've seen this fucker in the mirror before. Where the fuck are you doing here?
And
Not
then-
in the mirror.
And then he sees Scar.
By the way, this movie is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Cool, frosty. Sorry.
Well,
it's
I
a
mean,
close up of a can of
yeah.
If
can
you're
bottle.
gonna get some sort of hepatitis that's gonna kill you in like 6 months,
Hepatitis.
what are you gonna drink? Fucking anything. Hey,
So-
you got another one of these? I'm gonna have this.
Another placement was when they're walking in LA and Scarlett Johansson sees herself on the big screens for the Calvin Klein commercial.
Was it Calvin Klein?
Yeah,
I was
Calvin
curious
Klein.
about that.
I knew
what
it was a
perfume.
real commercial for like she had really been in. It wasn't made for this movie.
It was for the
but I didn't
fragrance.
catch what it was for. So.
Yeah.
I had read online that it was a real
And
thing.
so now in this scene, he's talking to her and he's like, I've watched you in so many things and you're so
yeah,
beautiful.
he's creepy.
He's creepy as fuck.
He is very creepily hitting on her this whole time, and he basically ends up telling Lincoln 6 Echo that he has cirrhotic hepatitis. From fucking, from lots of fucking.
Flame.
Yep.
Philandering,
There
but
you
he
go.
doesn't know
What
what
is sex?
Yeah, he doesn't know what philandering means.
You're a
He's like, lots
virgin?
of sex. Yeah, you're running around with that piece, and it's like, oh, come on.
Wait,
man.
are
He's like,
you
I won't ruin it for you.
virgin?
He's a 40-year-old virgin.
Woohoo!
Oh, 3-year-old technically, which is something.
I mean, he
to
is
be
a 3-year-old
expected.
virgin, I guess. Yeah, so
This is why we don't think into things.
Lincoln. I'm just gonna say Lincoln and then Tom. How about
There
that?
you go.
I can't-
Obi-Wan and Clone
Obi-Wan and Obi-2.
Obi-Wan, Obi-2. You
Okay.
be number 1, I'll be number 2.
So Clone B1.
Hey, number 2.
Hi, number 1. So Obi-Wan Clone Obi sees the TV and sees the president on TV and realizes that's a guy who's in the
In the
bunker
pods
with
with
him
him.
too. Yeah, so he knows who that is. And he's like, do a lot of people watch this thing? And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, we should go that. We should just go get on TV. And then we can
go on NBC
show them both
or-
of us and like that'll be fine. And Scarlett Johansson says, you have to help us. You're our only hope to Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is great.
Cloney 1.
No, she says it's the actual Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay.
You're only hope.
Wait. Actual?
Yes.
Well,
to,
technically.
Well, not the one that got
to
said
the
to.
Scottish
Right, right,
one.
The one that got said to was Alec Guinness, but the one that's it's fine. We see that Tom calls the company, whatever they're called, on Lincoln.
Why is my insurance policy at my fucking couch?
Yeah, and then we get a Cadillac commercial for a concept car that never came out.
Yeah. 2009, nonetheless.
2009. So 4 years in the future from when this movie came out. 15 years in the past from when it might take place.
Yeah, I don't fucking
The
know.
movie came out in 2005.
The movie came out in 2005. The movie takes place in
2019, maybe.
19, maybe. Okay, because it was.
They say 2019 in the pod bunker.
Right,
thing,
right,
but
right.
who
That's
knows?
what I was about to say. I was like, I knew this was in the past with a future that we're not accepting unless there really are clones out there being harvested for rich people.
Oh, there are. But they're
Oh,
not
okay.
clones. They're just poor people.
As long as they're not feeding on babies or whatever the fuck it was. I heard that out loud.
So they're driving their Cadillac. Clonobi gets to
Clonobi.
drive the Cadillac. Kenobi is telling him where to go, and they don't. There's a red light, and he's like, "Stop! Stop! Stop!" He's like, "Why would I stop?"
Well, no, he's saying red light, red light, red light, and doesn't say stop until
This
it's too
was
late.
after the whole lying eyes aspect. Well, I mean, that happened way early on, too.
Oh, I guess
so
that's a thing that comes around too. That's
Yeah,
a
she
Chekhov's
says it
gun.
twice.
'Cause she tells him
Poons,
early.
pineapple.
She tells him early that you have lie. Or when you lie, I can see it in your eyes, and then
Yeah.
she sees that he's lying. But then Johansson, like, they sneak attack them. Like Lincoln knew it was coming. Whatever. Real fucking.
He's
I don't
holding a
care.
gun to
yeah, he pulls a
clone.
gun out to the clone, and he knows that they're coming. And he's like, I'm not ready to die, so
And he's neither am I. Vroom.
Neither am I.
You have Lincoln and Bizarro Lincoln, and that doesn't get you anywhere in this movie.
Bizarro Lincoln. That sounds like something
Bizarro!
from a bad like alternate history. John Wilkes Booth never actually got to try to kill Lincoln, but you know who did? Bizarro Lincoln from the other universe. He's from the Mirrorverse.
Oh, Jesus.
Why do
So-
you all have those stupid goatees on?
That's the darkest timeline. They go into this abandoned building, and there's basically this chase through this like pretty cool old building. I don't know. It's got these cool like stained glass windows and shit. And unfortunately, it doesn't get blown up, which I expected. And we have this face-off scene where Johansson has a gun out, and he's pointing it at Ewan McGregor. And it's the thing you've seen in other things where there's like a twin or something like that.
He's the bad one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tom Lincoln, real Tom Lincoln, is holding the gun on Lincoln 6 Echo, and he's it's the
he
right
got
way.
the upper hand, the real Tom.
Yeah, but then he's like, this is my clone. Don't shoot me, and like whatever. But don't shoot him either because he's my clone and it's expensive.
Yeah.
But then that's when Lincoln 6 Echo decides to say, like, he's like, no, I'm the real Tom Lincoln. He's the clone, whatever.
And then snaps the bracelet on.
Yeah, he, like, somehow slips the bracelet onto the real Tom Lincoln without Johansson seeing.
Yeah.
I understand. I saw him do it. Like, he moved his hand because he had his hands up like he was, being held at gunpoint, which he was
I don't
twice.
think he was holding his hands up.
I'm pretty sure he was.
At gunpoint.
I don't
He just
know.
stood
It doesn't
there.
matter. Somehow he gets his hand up and puts this thing on his wrist without anybody noticing, even though the guy's staring directly at them.
After that guy took them off their wrists.
Yeah. So he sees the bracelet and he shoots that guy. He shoots the real one.
Dead.
And it's like Whitney didn't mind it, but I was like, why? There's like a stupid CG bullet that we see move slightly slower than reality.
It's much slower than you can't
It's
see
not like
a bullet.
time
It was
thing,
like
though. It was
wanted
pointless.
without the curving.
It
Yeah.
was like the
That's
Matrix without skill.
It's just a fun angle.
He goes back to the house, and Scarlett Johansson is about to attack him, and she knows it's him just by looking at him, I guess.
I can see it in your eyes. And then they get laid.
And they start making out, and
They figure out what sex is all
best
about.
line.
They saw it from the commercial, right? I'm assuming. I think it was in her commercial. So she's doing what she saw in the commercial. She starts sticking her tongue in his mouth, and yeah, he's like, that tongue thing is amazing. Do that some more.
Open up your mouth.
Quick side story about that from the IMDb trivia. So Michael Bay had Ewan McGregor add the line, "Wow, that tongue thing is amazing," because apparently that's what Michael Bay actually said to his first ever the first ever girl that he French kissed.
Gross.
I
don't wanna think about those
He apparently
days.
said, "Imagine what a geek I was when I said that." I'm like, well, not much better now. But anyway, so it's a real thing that Michael Bay said in real life to a real woman.
He's like
I've said some weird things.
if he wasn't a director, would he be an incel?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I think.
he'd be all over 4chan.
I'm not gonna
All
cover
over.
that.
They're fucking.
Gotta have.
I don't know
that
where they
scene.
learned that. She learned kissing from the commercial.
It's instinct.
It
Learned
is
it from
interesting.
watching you. So this is where we find out that Echo generation and all subsequent generations are affected by whatever thing is messing up their brains. And he
He's
says
the
he
first
needs
one
to
to
do.
question it.
How are we going to fix this? We'll do a recall. He doesn't say the word I was waiting for, though.
He doesn't say total.
Because it's not a total recall. It's only on the broken ones.
I
But
didn't
still.
see 3 boobs. I can't make the connection.
And then I was like, oh, cool. Movie's over. Oh, wait. We have like 35 minutes left. So Kim Coates calls Ewan McGregor to come back in to get a rescan. He's apologizing for, I'm sorry your clone tried to murder you. Come on in and we'll fix it. We'll give you a new one for free. It's not like you accidentally undercooked my food.
You
man.
still
Like,
paid, and it went fucked up and tried to kill you supposedly.
Well, then he finds
But
out.
we're gonna not charge you again.
But then he finds out that they're gonna just destroy all the other ones because he's like, yours wasn't the only one. There's defectives, and we're just gonna destroy them, and everybody's getting a new one.
Yeah.
And so he's pissed.
And the way they're going to do that, like get the people out of the population without freaking out the not infected ones, is with quote unquote mass winnings. So they're
Mass
like, oh,
winnings in the
special
lottery.
deal. A bunch of people get to go to the island now. Remember how we said there was limited space? Turns out there isn't.
Hey,
So-
it's Valentine's Day. I heard about a massacre. Get in this room.
So, yeah. And then there's also the scene of the mass abortion.
Yeah. Where they're just,
they're just going through
slicing
just-
the
All right,
titties.
I was like, it took me a moment. I was like, I don't remember. Oh, okay, the breast implant.
Yeah, well, they're
thing.
just
All right.
slicing open breast implants and dumping out dead bodies or like suffocating them and shit. I'm like, couldn't you just turn it off?
Yeah.
I've
without
heard
making a huge
slugs
mess?
is a good term for non-set Jello people.
So the note that I took for my Chekhov's gun for this episode was Buscemi's bank card.
Yeah.
Until I realized she was doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because he said earlier, don't let a woman use your credit card or hold your credit card. And when Ewan
Universal
McGregor...
truth, I think. Is
universal truth. And Ewan McGregor is going to the place pretending to be his real self. She needs to get in there somehow. And so she does use the credit card that way because she knows they're going to come and take her
But she does
away.
something nice.
She bought
and-
a bunch of ice cream for kids.
Exactly. And then she just sits on the swing waiting.
Yeah.
And they aggressively arrest her.
With her like half shirt too. Like
No, she had like a coat on.
I think it might have been the
I
way
saw a lot
Oh.
of belly button.
Oh, that's because they were
I was gonna
aggressively
say,
arresting
that might have been the way they were
her.
pulling her.
I've seen
'cause-
a lot of belly button. And it's not that
No,
aggressive.
but I'm saying the way they were pulling her, like her shirt was full length. It didn't hang down like my shirts do. It went to like her waist.
You know,
like
But when
skinny
they're-
girls wear.
They're pulling her and lifting her arms, so her
Well,
shirt
that's
goes up.
exactly it. And then of course she's like kicking. 'cause
Aggressively arresting.
That Michael Bay was like, make sure your shirt is short enough that when they pull you away, we can see as much as we're allowed to see. This movie's PG-13. So yeah, Ewan McGregor goes in pretending to be the real him. She goes in and they're like, hey, we're gonna pull out your lungs and your liver and all this shit and give it to this girl who, by the way, the girl that was her clone, they needed her. The
She was
reason
in a
they
car
called
accident.
her,
A mother of a child, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Did they say
'Cause
that?
the
Well, she
child
called and-
thought that it was her playing a joke, or his mom playing.
Remember,
I
she
don't
called
know.
and the
Their
baby answered.
mom.
And then he
No,
goes,
I missed
Mom,
that whole
is that
scene.
you?
Didn't we establish that?
Yeah. So
That was
anyway.
probably when I was falling asleep. But so she goes in, and this guy is being a fucking asshole, and he's like, "I can't wait till they cut you up and they take your liver and your lungs and all this
Dude,
stuff."
he had a big
And then he,
scar
like-
from where she hit him earlier
yeah.
on. But
And then he looks down her shirt, and he's like, "Oh, too bad. It'd be a mess or whatever. Who gives a shit?"
Yeah.
Because then he walks away, and she
seemed
like
a forced
pulls
scene.
this gun out of her pants. Hopefully.
It was in her vagina.
She might have been keeping it, and she's like, "I just discovered what to use this thing for. You can put stuff in it." So I don't know. But she pulls out this little gun, and she shoots this guy in the leg, and she makes the doctor give her his key, and she basically hits this dude and like leaves. She should have shot him in the head.
She should have. At least the dick.
it was the gun she stole from Tom.
Yeah, and they do say, by the way, at this point that Sarah Jordan, the one that she's cloned from, is probably brain dead at this point because
Yeah.
it's been
Oh, yeah.
days that she's
This was after the whole.
Yeah, but this is their. That's what.
This is
where
when
we are.
what's his
Are we?
face? What's the Bean is talking to? I can't ever
Ewan
remember his
McGregor.
name. No, he's the
Oh,
doctor.
Johansson
is talking to him, and he's like, "Well, what's going on with what's going to happen? Are they going to get the body parts or the organs or whatever?" And he's like, "Honestly, probably not. It's going to be a failure." He's
Yeah,
like,
she's probably
"So you're
going to
gonna kill-"
die, so there's no point. I mean,
Exactly.
we'll still kill her and take the
What
shit.
they
but-
do say is,
Oh, mind you, he did notice that she had the brand on her wrist,
after they
and
picked her
that's
up.
when he was like, when he's talking to the doctor about it, he said, I'm from this place, and he had a brand on his hand, and he's like, this is how they knew I was less than human.
Yeah.
So that's when you see the flip,
yeah.
and he's now for the clones.
You went for my client's confidentiality. Pay me
To a
my
conscience
people
real
to
quick.
be like,
Yeah, well,
oh,
I
shit,
mean,
you
he
fucking the
he
world.
did the job he was paid for.
Yep.
The job is over, and now he can undo it. But he got paid.
He
So-
shot the client.
He's a
Fuck that guy.
He's a PMC. They don't have any loyalty.
He didn't get paid
Exactly.
yet. The
But-
check was downstairs.
But the real quick thing is when Johansson is asking him about like, is the girl gonna get the parts or whatever? He's like, yeah, we'll take them, but she's probably already brain dead. And he's like, so you're gonna harvest them from this clone anyway, even though it's not gonna help this woman? He's like, that's what they paid for. So Sean Bean is the one who's like, these aren't human. I don't give a shit.
Pretty
and
much.
Johansson is like, well, I've been out there with them, and I can see that they're human.
Yeah.
You know how much money the Defense Department gives me? I can't fuck that up.
And they're looking at these whatever coroners are looking at the body they think is like an Echo 6 or 6
Yeah.
Echo whatever, and they realize that the
bracelet's on the wrong
is on the
wrist.
wrong wrist, so they call, and that's how they find out that Ewan McGregor is Ewan McGregor.
infiltrated their fucking.
And then we have the scene where Johansson ends up finding Scarlett Johansson when she's trying to get away from people.
Yeah.
Somehow he tracks her down.
in the basement of
Well, she pulled a gun and from wherever and shot one guy.
Yeah,
in
but
the
he was in a
leg and-
meeting with Mr. Bean, and now all of a sudden he's in the basement with her. Whatever. I don't
Who
care.
knows how many of his people
I don't
were
need
left
to see,
alive
I don't
after
need
the
to see how
train?
he got there because that adds minutes.
Yeah.
So they're putting all these people, including basically all of Ewan McGregor's friends from the earlier part of the movie. They're taking them to the island, quote unquote, and the guy with the hair
Mass winnings.
is the one that's like, wait, if we're going to the island, why did I leave my bag behind? Hey, are you new? I think you're taking me to the wrong place. Why are you putting me in this weird metal box, which is like a
We're
giant
supposed to go to-
incinerator?
We're supposed to go to the island, guys. What's going on? This is the wrong place.
Yeah, and he sticks them all in this incinerator and turns it on, and then that guy is sitting there to watch.
Yeah.
He is like eyes up on the edge of that thing, like, oh yeah, toasty.
Yeah.
Let's get a roast on.
And I mean, even though they show these incinerator things fire up, I mean, it shows like a direct shot down the barrel of a flamethrower or something.
Right.
It doesn't actually show any fire in the room.
They're
They're fine.
some CGI in the background of the people in the room, but yeah, it could have been wrong.
I don't know. I can't see CGI anymore. No, just kidding. That's all I see. You
Little
all look,
tiny
you all look
bugs
CGI.
climbing into your fucking eyelids. You pull it a little bit. Yeah,
I don't
it's
know. The
terrible,
eyeball
right?
bugs is slightly less terrible than that fucking centipede thing that crawls inside of Keanu Reeves in the first Matrix, though. I hated that thing. It goes into his belly button.
I don't like that idea at
Yeah,
all.
so Scarlett Johansson and Johansson arrive just in time to save the people. They shoot everybody and tell that guy to open the door. So those people come out, and we get Sean Bean versus Ewan McGregor. Because Ewan McGregor is trying to turn off the holographic projector because he thinks if everybody in the facility sees the hologram disappear, then they'll know that
Realize
they're free.
that-
I don't
Yeah.
know. Like,
They'll
Their
realize
life
that
is a lie, and they
Yeah.
need to accept it.
that's exactly
Welcome
what
to
he's going
America.
yeah, he shuts it off and he hopes they'll all just be like, "Good afternoon, good evening, and good night," and just walk out.
We're free. What do we do now? I don't know.
So Sean Bean, so the thing is starting to explode and overload, and Sean Bean shoots, Ewan McGregor's running away, and he shoots one of those little fucking grappling guns into his back,
The gun came back.
and then they end up fighting each other, and Ewan McGregor ends up grabbing the gun and shooting Sean Bean in the fucking throat.
Oh
Right
my
in
God,
the
that
center of
thing
his
is
throat with
awesome.
that thing, and it's fucking brutal.
for. And then they're hanging off a bridge.
Yeah, there's an explosion and they fall off this like causeway that they're walking on. So they're hanging Sean Bean by his throat and Ewan McGregor by his back.
Like a Hellraiser.
And yeah, it's a fucking torture scene out of Strangeland with Dee Snider, dude. It's fucking brutal. And Sean Bean
Bean
dies
dies.
because he's got a fucking hole in his throat that he's dangling from. And then
Wrapped tightly. I'm fucking constricting it while it's bleeding out.
and then somehow magically Ewan McGregor's outside.
that was
Yeah,
great.
with
I don't
everybody
know.
else. Everybody else is
Yeah,
floating
everybody's
outside.
outside. There's happy music. This last scene is like 8 minutes long of people just walking around on a hill.
And this song seriously sounds like the beginning of Circle of Life.
It
White
does.
suits
I was
running
waiting. I
down
was
through the
waiting
desert.
for a monkey to come and pick a little kid up and just hold him up in the air. And there, it looks like they're getting ready to start a cult.
Yeah.
Because we were all talking about at the end of this movie, like, where are these people going to go? Are they considered illegal aliens now?
Yeah.
Like, do they don't have homes? Are we going to just put them on
Born
an
in
island? Do we
America.
give them their own island and then be like, you wanted the island, you got the island.
You got the island. Is it everything you ever expected? No, but it's not death.
But yeah, they looks like they're getting ready to form a cult because there's a bunch of people in white jumpsuits walking through the middle of the desert.
And what was
Slow
the
motion
aspect?
kisses. We got some slow motion.
Oh, yeah.
So that's fun.
They had the three-way eye spark or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
they
Remember,
had.
she's looking at. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
want to say his name wrong.
Jimon
Jimon?
Hansu. She's I fucking him. He's I fucking her. Ewan McGregor's I fucking her, and then looks over at him and he's like, "All right, yeah.
All right.
I mean,
let's-
I'm
let's
down."
try it. Let's get it
But it is the
on.
Michael Bay world, so this threesome would definitely be.
Eiffel
these
Tower,
two dudes
baby.
are these two dudes are nowhere near each other.
Yeah.
They're as far as possible from each
They're
other.
doing the Eiffel Tower. Finger cuffs.
And that's the end of this movie. So Michael Bay, I've realized after watching 5 of these movies,
Took that long.
he's really good at making really high octane, intense action films that are boring and have no content.
Yeah.
Like, is some of them fun? Bad Boys is fun. The Rock is fun. Bad Boys 2 is fun. The
Good
Rock is
guy,
fun.
Bad guy.
This
Oh,
one,
but
A lot
Pain and
of
Gain wasn't
gray
that bad.
guys.
Pain and Gain, it was entertaining.
Yeah, Pain and Gain was at least entertaining.
And then it was depressing knowing that was based on true events.
Well, you know,
Some of that-
based on is
Right,
you know,
but Jack had looked it up. Like, some of that shit actually fucking
Like,
happened.
the
Okay,
murders
this-
and stuff, all
okay.
that stuff's real. Like,
okay, the grilling of the hands.
real.
Real.
All right, good.
That's actually the point in the movie where they put up a notification or like a disclaimer at the bottom that says, "Reminder: this is still a true story."
Yeah.
That exact scene. So,
How many movies do that though? Like,
well,
I can't
that's
keep
the
up
goofy thing of that movie. But they were like, I think that's the point where it's like, okay, this is where Hollywood took over, and it went, and they're
No.
like, hey, by the way, no.
This fucking
This
happened.
idiot thought he could grill fingerprints. Anyway, I mean, I guess he did,
So
but he did it outside. So that's a different
Too much
episode.
smoke inside.
Go back
Why
and
would
listen.
you do that inside?
Go back and listen to that episode. That was
Please
like 3
do.
episodes ago. It's a good one.
I wasn't a part of it, but I know the fucking movie.
So
yeah, you were broke down on the side of the road, weren't you?
Yeah, I think that's the one you were supposed to be here for, and your truck broke down. Your
Oh,
work-
it worked?
work truck.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so around the horn, guys. Recommendations.
So I had watched this originally back in the day, and I was like, oh, it's not bad. Like, it's cool. Not fucking worth a rewatch. No. Not even. I wouldn't even say put it on for a party.
No background noise.
No.
All right, if you listen to us and then you want to watch it and critique what we said about stuff about it, go ahead and watch it. Other than that, it's typecast.
If you listen to us talk about this and you want to watch it, we shouldn't be friends.
But definitely email us and
But
let
do
us know
listen.
your thoughts.
Do listen. Yes, send me an email. But I don't. Okay, so I'd never heard of this. I might have. I feel like I never heard of it. This movie's so boring. I don't recommend this
I
movie. at
know,
all.
because you're in love with
Okay.
Scarlett Johansson.
I was just
love
about to say,
Scarlett
you said
Johansson.
you're like, if I had heard of this, I'm like, heard what? Like the movie?
Yeah, no,
Like,
if I had heard of The Island back then, I might have seen it. I'd never seen it. I'd never heard of it until I was planning this
how would
month.
they fucking pitch
yeah,
that shit?
weren't you
in
working
like,
in the movie theater?
That was the year after, so.
Ah,
I was too
so
poor to go to
close.
the movie.
Yeah.
I worked in a grocery store for $6 an hour. Took me 2 hours of work to get a movie ticket.
I hate thinking about things in that aspect.
But
That's
yeah,
how
I
his
don't.
dad taught him.
I've worked for 3 days and I haven't paid for shit.
I don't recommend it. I think it's incredibly boring. I think it has a really cool concept. I do like the idea, but I'm into all the movies that you listed. That this is
Yeah.
The Truman Show is awesome. Total Recall is fucking brilliant.
A Matrix.
The Matrix is awesome. Fucking Logan's Run, Clockwork Orange, all these movies
All
that
right,
are
The Fifth
referenced in
Element.
this.
Run, I need to see. Like I've heard about
It's
it,
fun.
but I've
It's-
never watched it.
It's not as exciting as it could be because it's from the 70s. It's a 70s sci-fi
Well, I mean,
movie.
you know,
It's-
you got to go with the time frames
yeah,
of what
yeah.
was available. I mean,
But those
that's-
movies are all so much better than this. Just watch any of those instead of watching this. You know, I don't know. So next week will be the conclusion of It's Gonna Be Bay with Bad Boys. We saved what I thought was going to be the best for last, but actually might not be the best. I think Pain and Gain.
Pain
might
and
be
Gain
the
was
best.
probably the best.
we saved our
Um,
best for last. Why would we wait until the end? Well, we didn't know it was the best till the end.
I guess his best wasn't good enough. And then after that, we'll be doing the Superhero Spectacular, and then Rambo-thon, and on and on and on until
and on
ad
and on
infinitum.
again.
Rainbow Thon sounds a little
Rambo.
Oh, we're watching all the Rambos.
Rambo.
All 5 of them. So that's it for this week. Maybe we shouldn't be trying to record 2 episodes in a day because this is making me want to kill myself.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
You know what? I was about to do my outro and I haven't even said my piece. I got to thank Evasion for providing the music. Go check them out. Bandcamp, Spotify, Facebook. Follow us, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like, review, rate, whatever your service you listen to lets you do that because it helps people find the show. Share it with your friends. Tell your friends to listen. Force them to listen. If they're in your car, lock the doors and turn it on. Don't let them out. Otherwise, check us out. Go to our website, badmoviesworstpeople.com. It's all good time. We will see you next week. I have been Derek.
I am always Whitney.
I'm Patrick with some shit I don't remember from the beginning.
Patrick
I'm bad
Echo,
with Chekhov's
Patrick
gun.
Echo Delta Yo-Yo or something. Thank you guys. Good night and go fuck yourself.
Oh, my butt hurts.